In the vast and dangerous galaxy, there are many planets, but some are too deadly even to step on. These extreme and terrifying planets are known as Deathworlds. They are filled with deadly weather, poisonous plants, huge predators, and environments so harsh that most advanced alien species stay far away. Even machines and advanced technology struggle to survive in these places. The Deathworlds are seen as cursed, impossible to live on, and not worth exploring. However, there is one alien species that not only lives on these worlds, but rules them. They are called the Vorlak. These are terrifying creatures, huge, powerful, and built to survive pain. Their skin is like armor, their claws are like swords, and their bones are stronger than steel. They grow up fighting monsters, walking through fire, and hunting in the most dangerous places in the universe. They are survivors, warriors, and kings of these deadly worlds. The Vorlak have been in control of the Deathworlds for centuries. No other species ever dared to challenge them. Even the Galactic Council, which is like a government for the many alien civilizations, fears the Vorlak and advises everyone to stay away from the Deathworlds. The Council has always believed that trying to fight or explore a Deathworld would only lead to death. But then something unexpected happened. A small human ship, called the Sparrow, arrived on one of the worst Deathworlds, Gregor 7. It wasn't a big warship or a military vessel. It was just a simple exploration ship with 5 human crew members. They didn't know they had landed on one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. They weren't soldiers. They didn't have weapons. They were just explorers, scientists, and adventurers. The Vorlak were watching from the shadows. They expected the humans to die quickly. The planet would crush them, poison them, or burn them. It always did. But that's not what happened. Instead of panicking, the humans started building a camp. They set up shelter, explored the land, and even planted food. They seemed calm, almost relaxed. They laughed together around a fire and treated the dangers of the planet like everyday problems. This confused the Vorlak. They were expecting weakness, but they saw confidence. They were expecting screams, but they heard laughter. The Vorlak chieftain, Drobar the Scared, couldn't understand it. To him, the Deathworlds were sacred places of pain and power. For outsiders to walk on them without fear, that was something he had never imagined. The arrival of the humans was the beginning of something new. Something dangerous, not because the humans brought weapons or war, but because they brought something the Vorlak didn't expect. Adaptability, curiosity, and unshakable spirit. And this quiet landing would soon lead to a story that would shake the galaxy itself. The story continues on Gregor 7, one of the most dangerous Deathworlds in the galaxy. The Vorlak, powerful alien warriors who have ruled these deadly planets for generations, continue to observe the 5 humans who have landed on their world. They still expect the humans to die. After all, no other species has ever lasted more than a few hours on a Deathworld, especially not Gregor 7. The first real test for the humans comes quickly, a deadly acid storm. On Gregor 7, the rain doesn't just soak the ground, it burns through it. Acid falls from the sky and bolts of lightning can split mountains in half. This type of storm kills most living things and destroys even metal structures. The Vorlak hide nearby, waiting and watching. They believe the humans will run or scream or die quickly. But to their surprise, the humans stay calm. They've already built a shelter using local stones and strange metal scraps. Somehow, the humans figured out how to use the planet's own materials to protect themselves. The shield they built holds up against the acid rain. It doesn't melt. It doesn't fall apart. The humans stay safe inside. Next comes a new danger, toxic gas. The ground cracks open and deadly fumes leak out. It's invisible but lethal. The Vorlak expect the humans to choke and collapse. But again, the humans are prepared. They have simple breathing masks, something they brought from Earth. Nothing fancy, just clever and effective. They put them on and continue their work like it's no big deal. One of the humans even jokes, "Smells like gym socks in here," showing how unbothered they are by something that could kill most species instantly. This moment truly shocks the Vorlak. These creatures, humans, are not built like them. They are soft, small, and lack natural armor, and yet, they survive. Not just survive, they adapt quickly. That's something even the Vorlak, with all their toughness, are not used to seeing. The Vorlak chieftain, Drober the Scared, is furious and confused. He can't understand how these weak-looking beings are still alive. To him, power means strength, pain, and control. But the humans aren't strong in the same way. They don't fight the planet with brute force. They learn from it, work with it, and find clever solutions. The humans don't seem scared at all. In fact, they're doing better than anyone thought possible. This is when the Vorlak begin to realize, these aren't just visitors. These humans might actually be dangerous in a different way, not because of weapons, but because they don't give up. They are unbreakable, not because they're hard, but because they're flexible. Like water flowing around rocks, they adjust and survive. The tension between the humans and the Vorlak shifts in an unexpected way. Until now, the Vorlak, powerful creatures born and trained in extreme environments, have viewed the humans as weak intruders. But after watching them survive acid storms, toxic gas, and Graker 7's other horrors, the Vorlak start to feel something they're not used to: curiosity. One young Vorlak warrior, named Krex, can't take it anymore. He's a hot-headed fighter, eager to prove himself. Like most Vorlak, he sees survival as a form of strength. In his mind, the humans are either lucky or hiding something. He decides to confront them, to challenge them face to face, and maybe even scare them off the planet. So one night, Krex leaves the shadows and marches directly into the human camp. It's quiet. He expects alarms, fear, or at least people running away. Instead, he finds Mira, the human team leader, sitting calmly by a fire, drinking a hot beverage. She doesn't flinch or reach for a weapon. She simply looks up at the giant alien and says with a smile, "Hey, want some coffee?" This moment is powerful in its simplicity. Mira doesn't show fear. She doesn't attack. She offers kindness. This completely disarms Krex. No one in his world has ever reacted to a Vorlak warrior like that, especially not on a Deathworld. Krex is confused. He was ready for a fight. Instead, he's handed a hot cup of something humans call coffee. Mira warns him it's hot. Curious, Krex sniffs it, then drinks. And nothing bad happens. In fact, he likes it. The taste is strange but pleasant. More importantly, the entire experience, sitting by a fire, drinking something warm, and talking peacefully, is completely new to him. For the first time, Krex experiences something the Vorlak culture rarely allows: connection. He leaves without fighting, without threatening, just thinking. And the next night, he comes back, not for war, but for more coffee, and for conversation. This small, quiet moment becomes the start of something much bigger. It's the first real bond between a human and a Vorlak, not through battle, not through conquest, through shared curiosity. It also shows the beginning of a major theme in the story. Humans don't just survive, they connect. They build relationships even in the harshest places, and sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't a gun or a machine. It's a cup of coffee and a friendly smile. Krex doesn't tell his fellow Vorlak what he experienced. He keeps it to himself, unsure of how they'd react. But deep inside, something has shifted. He doesn't see humans the same way anymore. They're no longer just intruders. There's something else. Something he doesn't yet understand. And that small act of kindness has just planted a seed. A seed that might grow into peace, or change the future of the Deathworlds forever. The story dives deeper into the growing tension and unexpected understanding between the humans and the Vorlak. While the humans continue exploring Graker 7 and building a small research station, something important is happening behind the scenes. Mira, the human leader, and her team have started to notice something strange. There are signs all over the planet that it used to belong to an ancient civilization. Half-buried structures, carved stones, and energy signatures suggest that Graker 7 wasn't always just a Deathworld. At some point, intelligent beings lived here. The humans realize they might be standing on something far more valuable than just an extreme environment. It could be a lost planet of knowledge. One of the humans, Dr. Lee, is a linguist and codebreaker. He finds strange symbols carved into the rocks near a cliffside. The markings are not just decorative. They seem like a message, maybe even a warning. He spends days studying them, The symbols don't match any known alien languages, but slowly, patterns begin to appear. And then, it clicks. The code isn't alien, it's mathematical, universal, meant to be understood by anyone intelligent enough to notice. The humans realize the message describes a powerful energy core buried deep under the planet's surface. A core that could explain why Greaker 7 is so unstable, why it rains acid, why gases erupt, why gravity shifts. The planet is alive in ways they didn't expect, and more importantly, if someone could understand or control the energy source, they might be able to transform the planet, or even use its power for space travel or weapons. Meanwhile, the Vorlak watch from the shadows. They've always believed Greaker 7 to be sacred, a test of strength and survival. To them, pain is honor, and they've never tried to understand the world's secrets. But now some of them are starting to ask questions, especially Krex, the young warrior who drank coffee with Mira. Krex breaks the ancient Vorlak tradition and visits the humans again, this time in the open. Mira doesn't treat him like an enemy. She invites him to see their research. She shows him how they've been reading the planet's signs, not to steal, not to destroy, but to understand. Krex is amazed. The Vorlak have lived here for centuries but never thought to read the world. This moment changes Krex. He starts to believe that maybe the Vorlak way isn't the only way. Maybe pain isn't the only teacher. Maybe knowledge can also be power, but not everyone agrees. Other Vorlak warriors start to grow suspicious. They notice Krex is different. He's not angry, he's curious. He speaks calmly, he's thinking like a human. And on Deathworlds, change is dangerous. The stage is now set for a deeper conflict, not just between species, but between old beliefs and new ideas. The humans have broken a code older than anyone imagined, and that breakthrough is about to shake the entire planet, and both civilizations. Things start to fall apart, for both the Vorlak and the humans. The tension that's been quietly building finally explodes, and the result is a dangerous rift, not just between species, but within the Vorlak tribe itself. It all begins with Krex. After spending more time with the humans, especially Mira and Dr. Lee, Krex has begun to question everything he was raised to believe. He's starting to see a different kind of strength, mental strength, not just physical. He now understands that surviving a death world isn't only about brute force, but also about thinking, learning, and adapting. Krex shares what he's learned with a few other younger Vorlak warriors. They're shocked but curious. They've always been told that humans were weak, but Krex's stories say otherwise. He talks about the humans calmly facing storms, decoding ancient secrets, and treating even a warrior like him with kindness and respect. Some of the young warriors start to believe that maybe the humans don't deserve fear, maybe they deserve a chance. But not everyone agrees. The Vorlak chieftain, Drober the Scared, sees what's happening. To him, the Vorlak way has always been about dominance. Pain is sacred. Weakness must be crushed, and humans, no matter how clever, are invaders who don't belong on a death world. He believes that Krex has been corrupted by the humans. He accuses him of betrayal. In a dramatic public scene, Drober challenges Krex to a trial by combat, a traditional Vorlak duel where only one can walk away alive. The message is clear. Either Krex returns to the old ways, or he dies. Meanwhile, the humans are caught in the middle. They know what's happening but don't want to interfere. Mira wants to help Krex, but she understands the risk. If they get involved, it could start a full war between the species. Krex doesn't back down. He agrees to the duel, not because he wants to fight, but because he believes it's time to prove something. Not just to the Vorlak, but to everyone. The duel begins in front of the entire Vorlak tribe. Krex and Drobar clash in a brutal battle, strength against strength. Drogar is older, bigger, more experienced. Krex is faster, sharper, and more focused. But then something unexpected happens. Krex doesn't fight to kill. He fights to survive, to disarm, to show a different way. Even when he has a chance to finish Drogar, he spares him. And that changes everything. The Vorlak tribe is shocked. Mercy is not their way. But they saw Krex survive, win, and still choose not to kill. It's the first crack in the old code. Some begin to cheer. Others are unsure. But no one can deny what they saw. Krex is no longer just a young warrior. He's become a symbol of change. And now, both the humans and the Vorlak must face the truth. The Deathworlds are no longer ruled by fear alone. Something new is rising. The story enters a powerful turning point. After Krex defeats Drober in the traditional combat, but chooses mercy over death, the entire balance of power on Grecor 7 begins to shift. What started as a quiet mission has now become a movement, and the ripple effects reach far beyond one fight. The Vorlak, for the first time in generations, are divided. Some of the older warriors view Krex's actions as weakness. They believe showing mercy is the same as losing honor, but many of the younger ones see it differently. To them, Krex's choice wasn't weak, it was wise. They saw a warrior strong enough to win, yet brave enough not to destroy. That takes a kind of strength even the Vorlak don't fully understand yet. Meanwhile, the humans continue decoding the ancient ruins. Dr. Lee and Mira finally unlock the true meaning behind the symbols scattered across Grecor 7. The planet wasn't always deadly. Long ago, it was a thriving center of knowledge and experimentation. The core beneath the surface was a powerful energy engine designed to support life across the system, but something went wrong. The energy core became unstable, and the planet turned into the death world the Vorlak now know. The key discovery? The energy core can be stabilized. If the humans can repair the system, guided by the ancient language and their technology, they can transform Grecor 7 from a hellish world into a livable one again. It would change everything, for the humans, for the Vorlak, and possibly for the entire galaxy. Mira decides it's time to share this with Krex. When she tells him, his reaction is emotional. For so long, the Vorlak believed the pain of their world made them strong, that they were meant to suffer to prove their worth. Now he realizes the pain wasn't destiny, it was a broken machine. Their entire culture, built on hardship, was based on a misunderstanding. Krex asks Mira a simple question. If you fix the planet, will you still leave? Mira smiles and says, we came to understand, not to conquer. That moment sparks something deep within Krex. He gathers the Vorlak once more, not to fight, but to speak. For the first time in their history, they hold a meeting not about war, but about change. Krex tells them the truth. The death world doesn't have to be deadly, and maybe strength isn't just about surviving pain, it's about building something better. Some resist, others are moved, but all listen. The humans and Vorlak begin to work together. Side by side, they begin stabilizing the ancient core. They use a mix of old alien tech, human creativity, and Vorlak toughness, and slowly, the world begins to awaken. Acid storms become rare. The ground becomes less violent. Plants that hadn't grown in centuries start to sprout. For the first time in ages, hope takes root on Grecor 7. But the final challenge still lies ahead. Because peace, like survival, must be protected. And not everyone in the galaxy wants the Deathworlds to change. Everything comes to a head. Grecor 7 is no longer the same cursed world it used to be. With the energy core slowly being stabilized and both humans and Vorlak working together, life has begun to return. Acid rains have eased, the toxic atmosphere is thinning, and signs of green life are slowly pushing through the cracked soil. But just as things begin to heal, a new threat arrives. A powerful alien faction known as the Zareth Dominion enters orbit around Grecor 7. They've been watching from afar. The Zareth are known for controlling planets through fear and power, much like how the Vorlak used to live. To them, Deathworlds are weapons, places meant to crush rebellion and break enemies. They don't want Grecor 7 fixed. If the planet becomes safe and unified, it could inspire other Deathworlds to rise. That would threaten the Zareth's control over other systems. They demand that the humans leave and the Vorlak submit or face destruction. This moment becomes the final test. Mira and Krex call a meeting between the humans and Vorlak. Together they have a choice: surrender to fear or stand together. But this time the Vorlak don't choose rage, and the humans don't choose retreat. They choose resistance. Using a mix of ancient technology from the ruins, human engineering, and Vorlak strength, they set up defenses across the planet. Krex leads his people not as a warlord, but as a protector. Mira coordinates strategy, showing how humans and Vorlak can fight smarter, not harder. When the Zereth ships descend, expecting easy submission, they are shocked. They are met by a united force. The battle is fierce. The Zereth have advanced weapons and ruthless tactics, but what they don't have is heart. The humans and Vorlak fight not for power, but for each other, for hope, and for the future of a world they now both call home. In a critical moment, Krex personally leads a team to disable the Zereth's main ship using knowledge learned from the human engineers. He succeeds, but is wounded in the process. Mira helps him to safety, and together they watch as the last of the Zereth forces retreat. The battle is won, but more importantly, something new has been born. Graker 7, once ruled by fear, is now a symbol of unity. Other Deathworlds hear of what happened and begin to rise up, not in violence, but in hope. The legend spreads, of a world once broken, now blooming, of warriors once hardened by pain, now protectors of peace, and of humans, late to the stars, but strong in spirit, who brought change not with fire, but with understanding. Krex survives and becomes a leader of a new Vorlak age. Mira stays as an ambassador and guide. Together they help build not just a new city, but a new legacy. The final message is clear. They ruled the Deathworlds through fear, until they encountered humans, and the galaxy would never be the same again.